The Proxy War Playbook, guys. How empires fight without even having to fire a single shot. Hi, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me here on The Baseline. Welcome back. Hope you guys having a great day, a great night, great life. So, I'm sure you guys can feel this, right? Wars don't look like wars anymore. We don't see mushroom clouds, no flag raising on a distant hill. Instead, they leak through your newsfeed through hashtags, sanctions, and 30-second clips of chaos that feel both far away and uncomfortably close. And here's the part that nobody really wants to say out loud. The next war, or the next world war, won't start with bombs. It's going to start with the budgets, with the quiet funding of friends, factions, and freedom fighters. Because in the modern era, the best run empires learned something ancient that Rome actually never did. Why fight the war yourself when you can just rent one? And what's really at risk here is interesting, because this isn't just geopolitics. It's you, it's me, it's all of us, right? Because every proxy war has a price tag. And you and I, we all pay it through inflation, through oil, through higher food prices, tax dollars, and blood, guys. I mean, while politicians debate morality on camera, defense stocks quietly hit new highs. Now, if your paycheck feels smaller, if your groceries feel heavier, that's not an accident. It's collateral damage. Because the modern battlefield isn't measured in miles. It's measured in the margins. Now, here's the contradictions that, governments swear they're protecting democracy, right? Yet half their battles are outsourced to militias, tech firms, and other influencers, right? And it's like watching a magician pull a dove out from his sleeve. Meanwhile, your wallet disappears. And they call it strategic deterrence. But behind that phrase is a revolving door, right? Weapons manufacturers funding think tanks, which fund media guests, and who tell you why the next conflict is so absolutely necessary. So empires don't die anymore. They just franchise. And every new franchise comes with its own marketing team. Now, here's where things get interesting, right? Because you'd have to picture a chessboard like the size of a planet, and the kings never move. The pawns, though, they're entire nations. The bishops, they wear suits, and the knights trade currency. The rooks are intelligence agencies quietly repositioning assets. Now, every few years, a pawn disappears. And the commentators tell you it was inevitable. But here is the absurd part about it all, right? Because the audience, they applaud, because media coverage of war has become reality television for us. There's a hero arc, a villain that's involved, commercial breaks that sell you snacks between bomb footages. And it's a form of emotional management on a global scale. And you know what the biggest innovation in modern warfare actually is? It's branding. I mean, call it liberation, not invasion. Call it peacekeeping, but don't call it profit-seeking. It's not propaganda, it's product placement for ideology. They reword these things so interestingly, right? But every empire runs on three fuels: fear, funding, and forgetting. Fear keeps the public compliant. If we don't act, chaos is going to spread. Funding flows upward from taxpayers to contractors to campaign donors. And forgetting resets the entire cycle. Now, by the time the public connects the dots between the last decades, noble intervention and this decade's tragic mistakes, the next crisis, they'll already begin. But here's the twist, right? Proxy wars aren't just about weapons anymore. They're about narratives. If you can control what people believe happened, you don't need to win the battle. You just need to win the memory. And that's why empires fight on TikTok as hard as they do on territory. Because whoever owns the story, guys, owns the spoils. Now, it's almost funny if you think about it, right? Because if it weren't so expensive, we've turned geopolitics into a streaming service. I mean, coming this fall, War 2.0, now with better graphics and twice the moral outrage. And we binge it. Then we tweet our reactions. Then move on to the next season. Now, meanwhile, guys, real people are paying in blood while shareholders collect dividends. And the reality of that is so hard to swallow, whether it's on our end or on their end, right? But here's the good news. Awareness is a form of armor, guys. So every click, every share, every conversation that questions the official story is a small act of resistance that we all need to display. Because when you start following the money instead of the means, the fog, it clears, and suddenly the playbook stops working. Empires can build armies, right? But they can't buy discernment. And the antidote isn't cynicism, it's clarity. Now, the question becomes this, right? The question that should really keep us up, right, is what happens when every proxy runs out of patience? Because when the people being played stop playing along, it becomes interesting, doesn't it? Because history isn't written by the powerful, it's rewritten by the awake. And the moment more of us see the pattern, the playbook, it ultimately collapses. All right, guys, what do you think? Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? Leave a comment in the section below. I read and reply to all of them, and I value your guys' opinion. So let me know what you guys think, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode of The Baseline. All right, thanks again, Wise. Cheers.